The Atlanta Braves get their biggest win of 2025 with Drake Baldwin taking home the Rookie of the Year award, which gives them an extra draft pick, which can then let them find their future shortstop in the upcoming draft. We'll talk about all that on today's episode of Locked On Braves, so let's get into it.
You are Locked On Braves, your daily Atlanta Braves podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome back to Locked On Braves, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, where we cover your favorite Atlanta sports teams each and every day. Also part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is now the #1 sports podcast network. I am your host, Jake Mastroianni. You can follow me on social media at Shortstop Ball. Check out the podcast there at LockedOn_Braves on X, Locked On Braves on Instagram, and pretty much anywhere else you get on social media right now. We are on and posting, and you can follow us here on YouTube as well. Just hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button, leave us a comment down below. And if you're listening on the audio version, you can help out as well. Just leave a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Thanks so much for making Locked On Braves your very first listen of each and every day. Appreciate all your support, all my everydayers out there. We got some exciting news coming up here very, very soon for our everydayers, a chance for you to get more involved with the show. But thank you so much for all your support here of Locked On Braves. Today's episode's a fun one. We got a big win. Drake Baldwin and getting the NL Rookie of the Year award, what that means for the Atlanta Braves in the upcoming draft. We'll take a look at where they could go in the shortstop position in the upcoming draft. We'll take a look at the Arizona Fall League, where Nacho is on fire. We got some coaching news. We got a lot to get to on today's episode of Locked On Braves, so make sure you stick around until the end. And today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. We all got the news that we were hoping for on Monday night. I'm not going to lie. I was very nervous with the second half that Cade Horton had and that possibly swaying the voters from what I think, and you look in totality, was the obvious choice for Drake Baldwin to win Rookie of the Year. And they got it right. It wasn't unanimous like it was in the American League with Nick Kurtz, which was a pretty clear winner over there. And it was tight. I mean, Cade Horton was great for the Chicago Cubs, especially in the second half on a postseason contender, and they needed those starts from him. I could understand why some people may have been swayed to vote for Cade Horton. But when you look at the entire season for Drake Baldwin, the position that he plays, and the numbers that he put up, I mean, look, obviously, Rookie of the Year, some years are going to be different than others. Some years you're going to have Michael Harris and Spencer Strider going at it, both 4 or 5 win type of seasons for those guys. And some years you're not. And I'm not discrediting what Drake Baldwin did. He was fantastic. Again, especially when you consider it wasn't expected from him at all. I mean, there was a lot of buzz in spring training for Drake Baldwin, but I don't think anybody could have predicted he was going to become the Rookie of the Year. He hits 274, just over 400 at bats. Just missed the 2080 season, had a 1980 season, an 810 OPS. And again, I think the big thing for me, and like I said during the season, is that there wasn't a clear outlier in the National League like there was in the American League. And even in that, Drake still had, I think, the better numbers and was the obvious choice. But with it, even if you consider it a tight and a close race, which, like I said, I think there was a good argument to be made for Cade Horton, even if I thought Drake was the clear winner. When you consider the position that he had to play too, in being a catcher and being a rookie catcher and having to learn all those pitchers and call a game and manage a game, that's a lot to put on a rookie like that and to still put up the offensive numbers that he did. So I'm glad he got the win. I'm obviously very happy for him and excited for him to get that award, but it's a big win for the Atlanta Braves too. And look, this is what we were watching for. This was the most exciting thing to watch for in the second half in a season, especially after the All-Star break. This was the most exciting thing to watch down the stretch here. And it got really shaky for a while for many reasons. You had several Brewers players that were getting hot, helping them win that division it looked like we're taking over. Isaac Collins at one point was the favorite, I believe, in August. And then Cade Horton with his stretch, he had become the favorite. And just that entire time, Drake Baldwin just kind of remained steady. And he had a final good month of September, really kicked it on there at the end. Unfortunately, Cade Horton did get hurt the last week or so of the season, so that maybe hurt his chances a little bit. But again, I just think looking from beginning to end, the numbers he put up at the position that he played, I thought it was the pretty obvious choice for Drake Baldwin to win Rookie of the Year. So big congrats out to him. 21 of the 31st place votes. He becomes the third Braves player to win the award in the last 8 years for a farm system that pretty consistently ranks near the bottom, especially in the past 4 or 5 years. They continue to churn out top prospects. And again, that doesn't even include the year where you had Michael Harris win it, but Spencer Strider would have won it in many years. Spencer Schwellenbach last year would have won Rookie of the Year in many years too. So they just continue to churn out top players and top Rookie of the Year candidates. It's really a testament to the Braves development system. And you look at it now, the Braves, Dodgers, and Yankees are the only teams who have had players win a Rookie of the Year double-digit times, 10 or more times with the Braves. This is the Braves' 10th one they've had now. So again, they've done a really good job of developing talent, getting them to the big leagues, and then succeeding right away. Now, what this win for Drake Baldwin means for the Atlanta Braves and why this was such a big deal is that the Braves now get a high draft pick. Right now, reporting is saying they're going to get the 28th pick in the upcoming draft. They're going to have 2 picks in the first 28 picks of the upcoming draft. That is a huge deal for a team whose farm system does rank low despite constantly producing top talent. It is a farm system that does lack a lot of depth, and now you're getting 2 of the top 30 picks. But maybe even more than that is that 28th overall pick comes with $3.4 million in bonus pool money that you can now add to your bonus pool. They're going to have one of the biggest bonus pools of all draft teams, which what that means is, obviously we don't know where they're going to pick yet. We know they're going to be, at least top 15, hopefully a lot higher than that. They got a 45% chance to pick in the top 6. So at the very least, you're hoping you get a top 10 pick. And so what this does is now it gives you more money to throw at a top pick. Maybe you can convince a player that is supposed to go in the top 5, assuming that, let's say they get like the 8th pick or something in the draft. Maybe you can convince a player that's supposed to go to the top 5 to slide down to them at 8, that you can give them more money to whoever's picking at 4 or 5. Let's say they get the 5th overall pick. Maybe you have a little bit more money now to convince a player to move down from the 1, 2, 3 spot into the 5th spot. So it just gives them a lot more flexibility of what they can do in the draft and how they can manipulate the draft a little bit more. So this is a huge, huge deal for the Atlanta Braves. And we're going to talk about that more in the second segment. We're going to look at the top 5 shortstops in the upcoming draft, which could all be a big impact at the major league level really soon and could be a future shortstop for the Atlanta Braves that they now have a much better job of drafting because of the news today. What this also does for this offseason is there is the potential, now that you have that extra draft pick and that extra pool money, to sign somebody with a qualifying offer, or so you would think. But with where the Braves are and the penalties for signing a player who has a qualifying offer attached to them, the Braves would then have to give up that pick they just gained by Drake Baldwin winning the Rookie of the Year. So the Braves have to give up their second highest draft pick, not their second round pick, but their second highest draft pick if they sign somebody with a qualifying offer attached to them. So that pick that we all just got so excited about, that bonus pool money that we just got so excited about, if they were to sign somebody who has a qualifying offer, then the Braves would lose that pick and lose that money that comes along with that pick. So again, you do have an extra pick now that you can play with, but it's a very good pick that you would have to give up in order to sign that free agent. And you look at the players who have a qualifying offer attached to them. Kyle Tucker, I don't think the Braves are doing that anyway. Kyle Schwarber, probably going back to the Phillies. I don't think they're in on that. Bo Bichette, again, I don't know that they're doing that either, but certainly somebody we've talked about. Framber Valdez, probably not. Dylan Cease, though, somebody that I know a lot of Braves fans want them to go after. You'd have to give up that 28th pick to sign him. Ranger Suarez, Edwin Diaz, even Zach Gallen. Somebody, I'd say Zach Gallen's out. I don't know that I'm giving up the 28th pick and $3.4 million in bonus pool money for Zach Gallen. Shodi Managa, Michael King. I'm definitely not doing it for Michael King, somebody that I love. Trent Grisham, not doing it for that. Gleyber Torres, not doing it for that. Brandon Woodruff, I'm not doing it for that. So there becomes very few people, Dylan Cease, Bo Bichette, maybe the only two on that list that I'd maybe give up that qualifying offer for. And I don't even know if I'd do that, because as I'm going to talk about in this next segment, there are some franchise changing shortstop potential players at the top of next year's draft that I'm really excited about. In fact, I'm getting so excited about it that if they don't take one of these guys, I'm going to be very upset. But I don't know if I'm giving up that draft pick and that money for any of these free agents. Now, somebody I did not mention there is Cody Bellinger. He doesn't have a qualifying offer attached to him. So that makes it maybe a little bit more likely that they go and get somebody like him this offseason. But we will take a look at this next. I'm going to give you 5 shortstops in the upcoming draft that the Braves now have the money to convince to let them fall down to them in the draft, potentially go and get in this year's draft. That could be the future shortstop for the team. We'll take a look at that. We'll also get an Arizona Fall League update, some coaching staff changes coming along. We'll get to all of that here on the rest of today's episode of Locked On Braves. NFL season is back, and honestly, there's nothing better than being in the stadium surrounded by fans cheering on your team. But let's be honest, getting tickets can be a hassle between queues, login screens, and prices jumping at checkout. It's frustrating. That's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to fans. Game Time is fast, easy, and backed by the Game Time guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price, plus all fees are included. So the price you see is the price you pay. It's one of the many features I love about the Game Time app. You get zone deals on there as well. Just pick the zone and they'll give you the best deal right there. I use it whenever I go to Braves games. Used it to the last Braves game that I went to and waited till the last minute. Got a great deal down in section 41. I would have never bought those tickets otherwise, but I got them at a last minute deal on a Game Time. Me and the whole family went down there, and I'm telling you, it was a really good deal. I love that you can get a view from your seat. And again, I love the fact that there's no surprise fees when you get to the checkout screen. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Just swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. Thank you, as always, for making Locked On Braves your first listen of each and every day. Go check out Locked On MLB for your second listen of the day. Slowly getting caught up with everything happening around Major League Baseball. They'll be talking about those awards that are going to be coming out later this week, as well as the Rookie of the Year award happening on Monday, and any other news happening around Major League Baseball. Slowly will keep you updated with that. So make sure you're subscribed there to Locked On MLB, and make sure you stay tuned here for Locked On Braves. We're going to talk more about the shortstop position. And this week, we'll talk about the bullpen, where the Braves going to go with that. Any news that happens this week. They finalize the coaching staffs. Yeah, there's still some openings out there. All that we'll be covering here at Locked On Braves. So make sure you're subscribed on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. With Drake Baldwin winning the NL Rookie of the Year and the Braves gaining the 28th overall pick and $3.4 million to their bonus pool, the Braves got a chance to go out and find their future shortstop in this upcoming draft. There are some really good shortstops in the upcoming draft of differing levels, differing degrees, but some really good players. You get a lot of shortstop at the top of drafts because that's just generally where the most athletic players play. But very rarely do you get so many guys who evaluators believe are going to stay at the shortstop position. You may get a lot of top shortstops, and they can play shortstop at the college or high school level, but most evaluators know once they get to the big league level, they're going to have to shift to either second or third base, depending on arm, talent, and size. So it's rare that you get this many shortstops at the top of the draft who many people believe are going to stick at the shortstop position. So I'm going to give you 5 of them here that I think the Braves are going to have a shot at, obviously depending on where they land in the draft lottery, but I'm hoping at the very least, if they're in the top 10, they're going to have access to at least one of these guys. First on the list is Roch Cholowsky out of UCLA. Right now, he's pretty much the consensus unanimous top prospect in the 2026 draft. But keep in mind, Jace Lavalette was also seen to be the consensus top pick last winter as well. And then after the spring was not the case. So things can change in the spring and summer, whether, it's a player that underperforms or somebody else below him, takes a step forward. Roch Cholowsky, 6'2", 200. So, prime size there for the shortstop position. Turns 21 in April. This past season for UCLA, played 66 games, slashed .353, .480, .710. That's an 1190 OPS, 19 doubles, 23 homers, just 7 stolen bases. It doesn't look like it's going to be a guy that steals a ton. 45 walks, 30 strikeouts. Good walk to strikeout ratio there. Had first round interest coming out of high school. Turned that down and went to college and proved it. And proved that he's a first-round talent. High baseball IQ, should definitely be able to stick at the shortstop position. Was a top quarterback recruit as well, so you love that. Somebody who's, just an athlete. And that's the kind of guys you want to draft. And out of all these, and obviously it's why he's seen as a top pick, somebody that can move really quickly. With the skills that he has, the maturity and approach that he has, this is somebody, he could be your starting shortstop in a big league team by 2027. Again, don't know that the Braves would have to get pretty lucky. They'd have to probably get a top 3 pick to land Cholowsky, even with the extra money that they have. But, if he's there, this is somebody that could be your future shortstop sooner rather than later. Next on the list for me is Justin LeBron out of Alabama. Somebody that I've gotten to see a lot, living in Birmingham. So I'm close to Tuscaloosa and I'm able to go down there and watch some of his games. And I cover the SEC for College Baseball Nation. So I get to, watch, or College Baseball Central. I get to watch a lot of Alabama games. So he looked like a lock to be the first pick in the 2026 draft early in spring, but that's how quickly things can change. But then you get into SEC play and LeBron didn't look quite as polished at the plate. Of course, in SEC play, you're facing the Hagen Smiths, the best pitchers in all the Chase Burns of the world. You're facing some of the best pitchers in all of college baseball. And so it's tough. And he was certainly good, but just not as good as he was early on in the season in the non-conference schedule where he was just lighting up the place. Not nearly as polished as a hitter. Struck out 68 times to 38 walks. So much bigger risk there with the strikeout. 6'2", 175. So still a little bit to grow into that frame. Just turned 21. In 2025 with Alabama, he played 59 games, slashed .316, .421, .636 with a 1058 OPS. Again, still really, really good numbers playing in the SEC. 18 doubles, 18 homers, 17 stolen bases. So a little bit more of a stolen base threat. I mentioned 35 walks to 68 strikeouts. Look, I talk about Major League Baseball. I can't watch every Major League Baseball shortstop to give you an evaluation on who's the best defender in the game. We can look at the metrics, but again, the eye test is always the best for me. I certainly cannot watch every college shortstop. They're hard pressed for anyone to find a better defensive shortstop in the college game than Justin LeBron. For what I've seen of Justin LeBron, he just has those instincts. He's always in the right place. He's always able to get to the baseball. Might not ever make the play, but he's going to get to that baseball. And I love that about Justin LeBron. And this is me as an Auburn fan. It hurts me to say it, but you know how much I love baseball and how much I love the shortstop position. So you throw all allegiances out the window for that. He's just that guy for me. Whenever I watch him play, he's that guy. He's going to do something special. So I'm very high on Justin LeBron. There are certainly some concerns with the bat. He's just not as polished as a Roch Cholowsky, but like I said, Cholowsky's a 1-1 type of guy. And, Justin LeBron, he may be in that top 3 depending on how he does this upcoming season, but he might be more of a back half of the top 10. A couple of high school guys here. Grady Emerson from Texas, more of a well-rounded player with a safer floor, what some of the evaluators say about him. And I'm pulling some of these from different resources, MLB Pipeline and others, but might not have the highest ceilings. Maybe a bit of a safer play here, but did show some power potential at the high school home run derby where he finished runner-up in that. 6'2", 180, doesn't turn 18 until February. Played third base for Team USA, so definitely has the arm to stay on the left side of the infield and was named all-world third baseman, hitting 346 with Team USA 18U team. Labeled as more of a hit over power profile, but like I said, showed off some of that power potential in the high school home run derby. And Jacob Lombard, high schooler from Florida. Great bloodlines, obviously, with his dad, that myself and a lot of others wanted to be the Braves manager, and a brother that's a top prospect in the Yankees system right now. 6'3", 185, turns 19 next September. Double plus runner and an elite athlete who was also highly regarded in soccer. So once again, I love that. Versatile athlete. Should also be able to hit for average and power. Should be able to stick at shortstop with good instincts. So another high school shortstop there. Would love to have one of those first four. Any of those first four, I'm absolutely thrilled with the Braves getting any of those four guys here. But there is one more that is a little bit down the list. Maybe more of a top 15 guy, but is somebody that I definitely like, and that's Tyler Bell from Kentucky. Was a supplemental second rounder by the Rays in 2024, but went unsigned, decided to go to Kentucky, where he instantly became a superstar as an All-American freshman in 2025, where he played in 56 games, /296, 385, 522, a 907 OPS, 17 doubles, 10 homers, 11 steals, 24 walks to 59 strikeouts. Played a little during the summer in the Cape and for Team USA. Just smooth actions at shortstop. Not somebody that I was able to watch as much as LeBron, but certainly somebody I did watch a good bit of. And you could see it. You could see the instincts. You could see the ability there to play shortstop, and definitely enough arm to stay there. A switch hitter as well. 6'1", 200. Turns 21 on June 30th, so that makes him eligible as a sophomore, but also, a little bit on the younger side, which teams like, because you get a little bit more time to develop them. The MLB Draft's on July 12th, so like I said, that birth date just right before that, turning 21 right before that, making him eligible as a sophomore player and one of the younger college players that will be available in the draft. So that's 5 shortstops for you right there that could be available for the Atlanta Braves in the top half of the upcoming MLB Draft. And now with Drake Baldwin winning in a Rookie of the Year, they have a little bit extra money to throw at those players to convince them to go to the Atlanta Braves with whatever pick they end up getting. So I'm very excited about the potential of the upcoming draft. You're going to get 2 top 30 picks. You got a chance to find your future shortstop for this organization. It is a big night and a big win for Drake Baldwin and the Atlanta Braves. Next, we'll take a look at the Arizona Fall League right now, where Nacho, Jim Jarvis, Patrick Cholowsky, all doing really good things. We'll also talk more about the Braves coaching staff, shakeup, all that happening here next. The NBA season is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss out the start of the game or you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything you want, and it can keep you active in the game up until the fourth quarter comeback that you're looking for. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay. It keeps every game more exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. They also have World Series odds out there right now. Nothing changed there here recently. We'll see how that shapes out over the winter with some of the free agent signings, but they do have NBA Finals odds out there. The Oklahoma City Thunder with our big favorites, the Hawks, at plus 4,000 now. I think when I started this at the beginning of the year, they were plus 3,500 or something like that. They continue to kind of fade there, but you can check all that out at FanDuel.com. Also, please make sure you visit FanDuel.com/playsafe for tools and resources to help you stay in control of the way you play. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, voice is running out here, and I did have some tea with honey before, as some of you suggested, but it's just that time of the year. It's getting cold here once again. But I want to get to some of the Arizona Fall League. I haven't updated you in a couple of weeks there. And the Braves got some hitters doing some good things. Nacho Alvarez in 19 games is slashing 304, 448, 478 with a 926 OPS. 7 doubles, a triple, and a homer. 16 walks to 12 strikeouts, 4 steals to 1 caught stealing. He started at third base in the Fall Stars game. Did go over 2, reached on a fielder's choice on a ground ball that was hit 92.1 miles per hour facing Hagen Smith. Then he popped up to third base against Yankees 19th ranked prospect Cade Smith, who's been dominant in the Arizona Fall League. So not Not the best performance for Nacho Alvarez in the Fall Stars game, but still having an outstanding Arizona Fall League. And then Patrick Cholowsky, 20 games, 76 at-bats, slashing 276, 389, 355 with a 744 OPS, 3 doubles, a homer, 13 walks to 12 strikeouts, 21 steals. He's been caught twice. Was the fan vote for the Fall Stars game, so got added, and he got a hit. Went 1 for 2 on a single that was deflected. Went 1 for 2 and scored from second on a soft single that was deflected by the pitcher into right field. On that hit, it was a soft single. It wasn't hit very hard. Advanced to second on a throwing error, and also caught the last out of the game. So having a very good Arizona Fall League too. A lot of even Jim Jarvis in 15 games, he slashed 255, 387, 412 with a 799 OPS, 2 doubles, 2 homers, showing a little bit of power there for Jarvis. 11 walks to 9 Ks, 3 steals to 2. He's got caught stealing twice, so don't love that ratio there. But all the Braves hitters, they only sent 3 there, but they're all doing very well. Luke Sennard, after the good start, kind of slowed down a little bit, a 4.60 ERA in 5 starts now. 20 strikeouts in 15 and 2/3 innings, though, is solid. Giancarlo Lara, he's started a little bit slow, but has now ticked things up in 10 games. Just a 1.86 ERA, 9 and 2/3 innings, only 4 hits allowed. Has walked 10 batters, but struck out 14. And this from Gaurav, who's great follow on social media, as I say all the time, one of the best out there in covering Braves prospects. But Gaurav said, for those that have faced more than 10 batters, and Giancarlo Lara has faced 41 in the AFL, Giancarlo Lara leads the AFL in whiff rate at 47.8%, and he has yet to allow a barrel. And when they do make contact, he has an astounding 62% ground ball rate. So maybe there's one of your bullpen guys. Again, you got to be able to throw enough strikes, but the stuff is just unhittable. So good to see him kind of getting on track there. And a lot of those walks, I think, came early on in the Arizona Fall League, so settling down there. Some of the others there, LJ McDonough, Jacob Kroger, Trent Buchanan, Corey Wall, not having great times out there in Arizona. But good to see some of these Braves prospects really succeeding out there. Now, final news on the news front here for the Atlanta Braves. They did add Tommy Watkins to the coaching staff from the Minnesota Twins. According to David O'Brien of The Athletic, he's not the bench coach or the hitting coach and will either be the third base coach or a major league coach. So we don't know what role Tommy Watkins is going to have. Was a third base coach for the Twins, judging by the mentions on social media from Twins fans to the report. Some absolutely hate that he's gone, loving his loyalty and his commitment to the Twins, or maybe I guess it's not so much of a commitment anymore, but apparently it was just a coach that a lot of people loved, but a lot of people didn't love his sins. So I don't know if he needs to be third base coach. Sounds like he had some pretty aggressive sins there from third base, but we'll see where Tommy Watkins lands. Sounds like, from what I could gathering from Twins fans in the mentions, is that it's a good clubhouse guy, maybe not the best third base coach, which I guess how I would sum it up there. But they continue to build out that coaching staff, but still not the bench coach, because DOB confirmed this will not be the bench coach. So we don't know who that's going to be as of yet, unless they move Mansolino into that third base or into that bench coach role and give Tommy Watkins the third base coach job. They still could do that, but we'll see once they finalize everything there. And then lastly, I kind of joked about this yesterday, but from Jeff Passan of ESPN said Cleveland Guardians right-handers Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz face multiple federal charges after prosecutors alleged a widespread gambling scheme involving intentionally throwing pitches for balls. Also from David Purdom, who writes about gambling at ESPN. Prominent U.S. sports books are establishing a nationwide $200 betting limit on baseball wagers centered on individual pitches and prohibiting such bets from being included in parlays in an attempt to decrease the incentive for manipulation. Why we have to deal with this stuff, I don't know, but just thought I'd bring you that news. It's unfortunate that we do have to talk about some of this stuff, and you have to wonder sometimes what's real in a game or not. So there it is. I don't really want to go into too much detail on that, but yeah, Joe, it's crazy. It's crazy they allow somebody to bet on a single pitch. It's just so easy to manipulate. And in the grand scheme of things, it probably doesn't have the biggest outcome on a game. So it's easy to convince a player, just, hey, it's one pitch, just throw a ball. That's all you got to do. Come back and strike out the guy if you want to. Doesn't matter. Why that's a thing, I don't know. Why they don't just completely eliminate it, I don't know. But that's the betting world. Kyle Hendricks set to retire. There was a trade. Rays traded Cameron Miser to the Royals for a player to be named later or cash. And Bruce Bochy going back to the Giants as a special advisor. So that's kind of cool there to see Bochy going back to the Giants. But that's all the news of the day. Really excited for Drake Baldwin. Again, I don't want to take away from his excitement of winning that award, but it just means so much to the Atlanta Braves and to us as fans. I mean, we feel like we're winning now. It's going to be a big draft for the Braves. Again, you're hoping for at least a top 10 pick. Fingers crossed. Maybe it's a top 5 pick, but at the very least, you're getting 2 top 30 picks, and you're going to have a lot of money to spend in the upcoming draft. That's going to be huge for the future of this team and this franchise. So excited about that. Thanks so much for everybody joining me here live on today's episode. Docs Cards, BC, Joe Me, AJ Evans, Mass Boost in here as well. Thank you so much, Jeffrey Humphreys and Everydayer. Appreciate you all joining me as well. Appreciate all the support you give me here on the podcast. Matt Mock in here. Thank you. Haven't seen you in a minute. Thanks for joining. Andrew Awash. Appreciate you all being here. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube if you haven't already. Hit that thumbs up button. Leave me a comment down below. Make sure that you rate, review, and subscribe to the Locked On Braves podcast wherever you get your podcast, and we will talk to you next time.